Tennesseans trapped. What's left of Helene leading to devastating flooding. The help already on the way.
Not done yet. How long we'll see impacts from Helene here in the Mid-State. Taking a rain check. Heavy rain turning off the Friday night lights for some. The kickoff's now set for Saturday. Fox 17 News starts now.
Middle Tennessee's only primetime news. This is Fox 17 News at 9, your Code Red station.
Well, Fox 17 News, we are getting a look at some of the terrifying impacts of what's left of Helene here in Tennessee.
Now, take a look at this scene unfolding as we zoom in on the real action. This video shows the floodwaters raging around a hospital in Erwin, Tennessee. And what you see moving right here in the video is actually people that are trapped on the roof of that hospital.
Well, let's get a closer look of that. Here is that video taken from the roof of the hospital located near the North Carolina border. Once the floodwaters started rising, you can see people actually climbed on top of the roof and more than 50 had to be rescued by helicopter.
Here's a little more perspective of just how fast that water is moving, so much of it. This video is shot near the area where the hospital is located. You can see these trees and buildings nearby, all really having a tough time. Water right up to the roof of the buildings. These trees and the power lines just doing what they can to stand up to the force of that water.
And here, another piece of video showing that hospital fully surrounded by water. It was captured by a TEMA crew member as they flew over the location by helicopter.
And now take a look at the TDOT SmartWay traffic map. We've got it zoomed in to Interstate 40 over in East Tennessee, really close to the border with North Carolina. And you can see everything in red there. All trouble in that area because of high water and flooding.
And here's the problem. Wow, look at this video. You can see the Pigeon River just slamming against Interstate 40. This is out in Cobb County. Crews are rerouting traffic until they can assess exactly how much damage has been done to the interstate and the bridge.
And here's a look at how state leaders are trying to deal with all this extra water. This shows the extra water TVA releasing over the Nolichucky Dam in Greenville. The dam is now expected to fail. TVA says more than 30,000 cubic feet of water per second are flowing across that dam right now. Code Red Chief Meteorologist Katie Morgan has really been doing yeoman's work for days now. We've got a lot of trouble over in East Tennessee, and we are hundreds, really, of miles away from the real action where the hurricane came ashore. We're just getting the bits and pieces.
Kind of right on the edge of some of the intense rainfall that they saw out in East Tennessee. This is a look at some of the rain totals out towards Asheville. You can see around 9 inches. And again, this is a 3-day total, 33 inches. And I saw even reports higher than that up in the mountains along the Tennessee and North Carolina border. 20 inches of rain near Lake Lure, which is where one of those dams was having a lot of trouble this afternoon. We'll zoom out and you can see that we have still seen quite a bit of rain here as well, but easily to pick out where the big problems have been with Helene as far as rain goes. Locally, our 24-hour rain total is pretty spot on from what we expected here, anywhere between 3 to 5 inches with pockets upward to 6 panned out across a lot of Middle Tennessee. This is some much needed rainfall for us, and thankfully we've gotten by with very little flooding issues. As we go through the overnight, we continue to see some light showers around the area, scattered across Middle Tennessee. Breezy winds around 20-30 miles per hour. The wind advisory has been allowed to expire, so the worst of the gusts of wind are over with. Radar right now showing some of those light showers. They will continue as this upper level low now takes over. So Helene was gobbled up here by this upper level system, and now we continue to see some showers around not only for tonight, but it looks like for a lot of Saturday. We're going to continue to see the rain around as well. We'll talk more about that, of course, a little bit later. We'll walk you through the process of timing it out with Future Track as well. Right now, we want to talk more about the impacts that we had from Hurricane Helene, not only here in Tennessee, but across the Southeast, Mid-Atlantic, and into portions of the Ohio Valley. Here's meteorologist Brett Luna.
Well, Hurricane Helene made landfall late last night, and it really left its impact. This is some of the rainfall totals from over the past 3 days due to Helene, and all those shades of purple and white that you're seeing, that's going to be double-digit rainfall amounts. A lot of areas with up to 15, even some areas going up to 20 inches of rain. We had some pockets that were even higher than that, though, and that's what prompted some of these emergency flash flood warnings. That's going to be for everybody in that shade of turquoise, especially over here on the western side of North Carolina, up in the parts of extreme northeastern South Carolina, too. So Asheville included in that, Greenville, South Carolina included in those emergency flash flood warnings. We had a few pockets, according to radar estimated rainfall totals right here in the extreme northeastern portions of South Carolina, almost 33 inches of rain. Again, these are radar estimated rainfall totals, around 24 inches, a little bit on the east side of that. So an extreme amount of rainfall in a very short amount of time. And even if these radar estimated totals are even showing up a little bit too high, even if you cut that down in half, that is still an extreme amount of rain in a very short amount of time, leading to significant flooding over in that area. We've also had a lot of tornadoes spawn because of Hurricane Helene as well. Charleston had tornado warnings earlier, Columbia, South Carolina, Myrtle Beach, Florence. Those continued to move on up into parts of North Carolina. Fayetteville had their tornado warnings up in the parts of Raleigh and Wilmington as well. So just an incredibly active past couple of days as Hurricane Helene continued to push further inland.
Well, thank you. New tonight, we've got some new video of the flood damage in East Tennessee. Rains from Hurricane Helene flooding a church there in Roan Mountain. You see it almost halfway up the side of the building. The nonstop rain also sent a lot of very muddy water rushing through this very small town.
It's really scary to see. It's devastating for this area. We're going to lose all of our public networking buildings, our courthouse, our police station. It's just, I've lived here my whole life and I've never seen it like this. I really don't know what to say. It's super scary.
Yesterday it started off raining really heavily, and we had to pull somebody out yesterday. A car got stuck in the rain. But I don't know, they had to take a raft this morning and get family members from the trailers down there. Apparently it's flooded over the interstate and everything. It's terrible.
Now, we've also got some new video that shows the people we told you about a few minutes ago that were rescued from the hospital in Irwin. They made it back safely onto dry ground. And when they got there, they found relatives there ready to give them a big hug as they understood what they'd been through. No word on anybody getting hurt during this hospital rescue.
Some high school football fans will check out the Saturday Night Lights as Helene postponed some high school football games tonight. Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller at Beach High School, where school leaders decided to err on the side of caution.
I'm all alone here in the bleachers here tonight at Beach High School, and that's because the Beach-Hendersonville game has been postponed to tomorrow due to weather. It's been raining hard all day and still continues to do so.
The bleachers at Beach High School are wet and empty, a lot different than what a typical Friday night rivalry game would look like. But that's not the case for some other schools. Most of them have decided to play in these conditions. The Brentwood Overton game was moved to Thursday, so they already played their game ahead of time due to the expected weather. But the game out in Murfreesboro with Siegel going up against Blackman happened as planned.
This is a night to be able to make memories. You don't get too many nights that are nasty and raining like this where it's warm and you're not miserable, you know. So, we try to make it a night to where it's going to be memorable. Win or lose, our kids will always be able to talk about this the rest of their life playing, in the remnants of a hurricane.
So to sum it up, most of the games in Middle Tennessee did take place tonight, but the football game here at Beach High School will now take place tomorrow at 4 in the afternoon. Reporting from Beach High School, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
All right, this radar loop is going to show you where Helene came ashore last night in the Big Bend area of Florida, right there around Perry. Reporter Megan Scarano talking with some of the hurricane victims in Perry who are now taking stock of the damage done to their homes and their businesses.
Total devastation. Everything that I worked for was gone. My business was gone. When people ask me, how's the camp? I'm like, it's gone. I mean, it's just, there's nothing there. Our cabins, our store, our office, anything that was ground level is in the Gulf of Mexico.
Leslie Marion lives in Taylor County, Florida, near where Helene made landfall.
And she hit us hard. It was loud, scary, very scary, very scary. The noise, that woo, was freaking me out.
Her roaring winds and storm surge wiping away Marion's livelihood.
We can't even find half this stuff. We don't even know where it's at. I mean, how can a 1,000-pound ice machine be lost?
Helene toppled over trees, snapping some in half and taking power lines down with them. Sheriff Wayne Padgett told residents before Helene, if they stayed put, to write identifying information on their bodies and permanent marker, a grim warning of what was to come.
And that's a hard thing to say, it's even a hard thing to think about, but it works. I've told people that and they turn around and say, well, we're leaving. Since you said that, we're leaving. So it's saved, we're trying to save a life, trying to take care of our people. That's our main goal. We're nothing without people. We have to have our people.
Governor Ron DeSantis made the trip to Perry to see the damage for himself, saying sometimes with storms like this, it can take months or even years to recover.
The damage from this storm, Helene, compared to Idalia is not even comparable. It did more damage on the coast than Idalia and Debbie combined.
Downtown Perry is running on generators for the time being.
The Fox 17 News digital team putting even more photos and videos on fox17.com and the Fox Nashville YouTube channel. Like this story of Tennessee Governor Bill Lee signing an order to provide financial relief to storm victims in East Tennessee. Just go to fox17.com and search Helene to see all of our coverage.
Just ahead, Mayor O'Connell's reaction to the month-old baby found living inside a homeless camp downtown on the Cumberland River.
And election interference, how federal prosecutors are taking Iranian hackers who broke into the Trump campaign computers to task.
So at what point do we say enough is enough?
And the high cost of homelessness, Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell addressing the month-old baby found living in Old Tent City downtown by the river. Fox 17 has already reported the baby's now being cared for by someone outside the camp, but advocates are now concerned about the next child. Fox 17 News' Kylie Walker with the mayor's response and the dire need for action.
Having been down in Old Tent City, I can confirm that the living conditions down there are awful, especially for a newborn baby. Now, earlier today, I did reveal police call logs that showed serious calls for help, including calls for rape, domestic disturbance, and also dangerous or injured animals. Sifting through more than 200 police call logs, I wanted to know more about the day-to-day at Old Tent City. Corpse, robbery, fire, person with weapon. Noting Nashville's $50 million investment to tackle homelessness, community advocates are pushing for a complete camp closure. It comes as other smaller encampments citywide have been addressed in recent years. Just this week, a newborn baby was found in Old Tent City. So at what point do we say enough is enough, get those resources out, and complete a camp closure?
We've looked at this camp in particular, and there will be opportunities for some of the residents there to move into Strobel House, other scenarios.
While Mayor Freddie O'Connell was not clear on a timeline, we asked how the encampment will be monitored in the meantime. How do we know that there's not another baby down there?
I definitely recommend checking in with Commander Bearden. We do have regular quality of life check-ins out there.
I checked in with Metro Police to request that in-person interview with Commander Bearden. Instead, they sent us a statement that says in part, every day, Monday through Friday, officers of the Central Precinct Quality of Life team under Commander Bearden's direction visit the area.
There's just not a lot of, accountability. Not a lot of people going down there and keeping an eye on stuff.
As someone who visits Old Tent City several times a month, Barry Dupnick, who has worked tirelessly to clean up the site, says he rarely sees city leaders or police in the area. Now, I personally have been to Old Tent City a little under 10 times in the past month alone. And all of those times, except for when I saw once somebody delivering food down there, I have not seen anybody that was out there to help or monitoring this site. For now, reporting in Nashville, Kylie Walker, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
And of course, we want to know what you think. Do you think Nashville is making any progress on the homeless problem? We've had 453 votes come in, and an overwhelming 93.2% of voters say no. 6.8% say yes. This poll is still live right now, so there's time to cast your vote. If you'd like to weigh in, you can scan the QR code there on your screen. It will take you over to our X page, And we'll show you updated poll results here a little later in the newscast.
All right, let's talk about the weather. We have been through the remnants of Helene. Hopefully, we're coming to the end of that. I say hopefully because I'm hoping you'll say, yes, we are.
Yes, we are. Yeah, I think we've hit peak, and now we're looking at the downward trend as we head through the overnight. There will still be some scattered showers and, in fact, rain all the way through the weekend. But as far as anything that is concerning for flooding, that is going to be coming to an end. Rain total today in Nashville, 4.3 inches. That shatters the daily record, which was only 1.8, I believe, somewhere in there. But more importantly, this is more rainfall in one day than we typically find on average in the entire month of September. In September, our average rain total for the entire month is 3.8 inches. So we saw more in one day than what we typically find for the whole month. Clarksville around 3.4 inches and 1.6 in Crossville. A very soggy but much needed rain that we've been really wishing for, I think, for a while. Rainy weekend ahead. We're going to continue to see these showers around. A bit on the breezy side for Saturday. Won't be quite as windy as what we've had from this afternoon, and we'll talk more about when we'll dry out. As we take a look here at our future rain for the overnight, this is just going to take us through tomorrow morning. We are looking at a couple more tenths of an inch of additional showers possible, perhaps slightly higher amounts, a ½ inch to the north and to the west. Here's a look at your forecast for the weekend. It's looking rainy, especially for tomorrow. I think we are looking at more cloud cover, more rain around for Saturday compared to Sunday, but both days we are going to be looking pretty soggy. Temperatures in the low 60s on Saturday, low to mid 60s Saturday, and we'll be in those low 70s as we approach Sunday, all the while looking at, again, scattered showers that'll be with us here. As we take a look at future track, this is through Saturday morning. Pockets of rain are around, and that continues to be the story as this upper level low just kind of hangs out here in Tennessee. Through 2 o'clock, we'll continue to see those showers. These will be light, so again, not expecting flooding to be a problem for us. And then as we get into Sunday, we'll continue to see these pockets of rain, but notice much more widely scattered across the area into early Monday morning, so really not looking too bad. A little bit foggy out there this evening with a lot of the rain that we've had around. And again, it'll just kind of feel damp and soggy for the next couple of days before we finally begin to dry out. As always, a great tool to have when we have these code red weather days is multiple ways to stay alert. One of the best ways to do that is with our local weather app. You scan the QR code here. It is free to download on your phone. I highly recommend it. It is a great tool. You can track hurricanes, in fact, on it. We have a tropical filter, but more importantly, it will alert you when we do have important weather that you need to know about and if and when you need to take action. Coming up, we'll talk more about what we can expect going into next week, when we could find actually some low temperatures in the 40s. That's coming up.
Iranian hackers charged with cyber crimes for stealing from Donald Trump's campaign. I'm Matt Gelka in Washington, and I'll have the story coming out.
Hi there, I'm Fox 17 News morning anchor Erica Glover. We're talking about a common disease here in the U.S., but cases of whooping cough are increasing according to some health experts. We're going to share how you can protect yourself and your family this winter. We'll have that story Monday on Fox 17 News this morning. Can't wait to see you then.
Federal prosecutors are taking action against Iranian hackers for attempts to interfere with U.S. elections.
Fox 17 News' Matt Galka has the latest on the attack surrounding former President Donald Trump's campaign.
The defendants' own words make clear that they were attempting to undermine former President Trump's campaign in advance of the 2024 U.S. presidential election.
Multiple Iranians face criminal charges for allegedly hacking into Donald Trump's campaign. A grand jury indicted 3 hackers tied to the Iranian government this week for cybercrimes, allowing them to access Trump campaign material.
The American people, not a foreign power, decide the outcome of our country's elections.
Prosecutors say between June and August, the hackers stole debate prep, vice presidential vetting material, and emails from Trump's campaign. Some of the stolen documents were sent to journalists, with almost all of the outlets choosing not to publish what they received. The materials were also sent to members of the Biden campaign before it turned into the Kamala Harris campaign. Harris's team says they didn't use anything that was sent by the alleged hackers.
Our enemies are desperate
to prevent Donald Trump from returning to the White House.
Along with the hacking, the Trump campaign says they've been briefed on credible threats from Iran to try and assassinate him. Trump's administration authorized the killing of a top Iranian military commander in 2020 and pulled out of the Iran nuclear deal in 2018. The U.S. is offering a $20 million reward for info leading to the arrest of a different Iranian national accused of plotting to kill former Trump national security advisor John Bolton.
This is something we've been tracking very intensely for a long time, an ongoing threat by Iran against a number of senior officials, including former government officials.
Surprisingly, the former president said this week he was still open to negotiating with Tehran on a new nuclear agreement if he gets reelected.
We have to make a deal because the consequences are impossible. We have to make a deal. And they would have had a deal.
The hackers are still in Iran, meaning it's unlikely they'll ever face prosecution. But the Justice Department hopes that by publicly naming the charges, they'll deter future hacking attempts. Reporting in Washington, I'm Matt Gelke.
Dealing with Helene, what hurricane victims who did not evacuate are being urged to do tonight.
And reporter rescue. The reporter who put down his microphone today to save a lady in a flooded car. As the remnants of Hurricane Helene continue to soak parts of the country, we are starting to see how people who took the first blow are really making out. Rebecca Castor explains what storm victims who didn't evacuate are being told to do tonight.
Helene made landfall near Perry, Florida, just about 50 miles southeast from where we are in Tallahassee. Here you can tell a storm rolled through, but overall the state's capital city fared off much better than expected, while other communities across Florida's Big Bend are waking up to devastating damage.
Oh, it's crazy. I've never seen it this bad.
Overnight, Hurricane Helene slammed Florida's Big Bend, with winds reaching 140 miles per hour as torrential downpours and devastating storm surge swamped roadways. Helene's massive size impacting communities far from where it first hit.
Hurricane force winds are extending up to 60 miles from the center of the storm. There's going to be streets that are flooded and will continue to flood all up and down the West Coast.
Officials are urging folks who haven't evacuated to stay indoors after at least one driver in Tampa was
9 fell onto the highway.
But as emergency crews were busy making high water rescues, some people were out rafting in the storm surge. More than 1 million are without power across Florida, causing power flashes to light up the night. Crews in some areas were out mending lines before the winds picked up, like the gusts that sent this tree tumbling down onto a nearby home.
And all of a sudden I heard a great big old boom. So I come running out, called 911.
Now the focus shifts to Georgia and the Carolinas as Helene continues moving north. In Tallahassee, Florida, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
One of the most talked about stories to come out of Hurricane Helene is a Fox News weather reporter making an unexpected recovery of a woman trapped in a flooded vehicle in Atlanta. Here's how it all unfolded.
To save lives. Hey, Bob, can you hear us?
Yeah, I got you loud and clear. And you can see right here, we've got this lady drove into the area that's flooded out, and she's screaming right now. I just called 911. Fire department is coming in, but she drove right into the flood waters. This is the Peachtree Creek. We will get back to you in a little bit. I'm going to go see if I can help this lady out a little bit more, you guys. I'll be back. Yeah.
All right, Bob has got to go help them. Bob Van Dillen. Fox Weather's Bob Van Dillen saved a woman trapped in a car. Look at that.
He's saving her.
He called 911 for her. Bob is going to join us coming up. That guy is a hero.
Wow.
Yeah. When we saw you last, there was a lady in that white car behind you, and we could hear her screaming her head off during your live shot. And eventually you said, I've called 911. But the water was rising, and you had to do something. So pick up the story.
Steve, I know that we're swamped here with all the 911 calls because there's so many high water rescues that we've already documented so far. And called 911 in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and you could hear her screaming, right? You could hear it during my live shot real loud. And that's her car right there. Windshield wipers are still on. So I just said, you know what? I realize I'm with you guys. I'm on the air, but I can't let it go. So I just... I dropped everything and I took my wallet out of my pants and I went in there, waded in about chest deep.
Humanity at its finest.
I know, guy's a hero, and you know how scared that lady must have been. Imagine if that was, somebody in your family. And
Right. Oh,
absolutely.
That was really hats off.
And that stuff can happen so fast. That's why I always say turn around, don't drown.
Yeah, anytime that you see a road that is covered with water, doesn't matter how high it is.
Don't do
You
it.
don't
be
want to do it.
deceiving, yeah.
And a lot of times too, it's the underneath that you don't know about. You may see how deep the water is, but you don't know the integrity of the road. So you don't know what you're driving on and if it's sturdy and safe to be doing so. So always a better idea to turn around and find another route. But
She was lucky.
those
two are going to meet
very
again.
Heroic, yeah, very, very heroic. Let's talk a little bit more about our rain today. If you've noticed, the raindrops this morning and this afternoon a little more fine, more misty, if you will, or if you looked out the window and you thought, oh, it's just a very light rain, but then you went outside, you started driving in it, it's like, oh, this is a rain. That's because the raindrops were actually smaller. Tropical systems tend to carry smaller raindrops as compared to what we are very much used to, a convective rain, a thunderstorm rain, where raindrops are a little bit larger. Now, all raindrops, they can be different sizes, but typically with tropical systems, they are smaller in size, but there are more droplets in the cloud. And a lot of times these lighter or these smaller droplets will look light on radar. So it always looks as if it's a light rain, but a very steady and intense rainfall from what's coming down compared to sometimes what you may see on radar. This evening, things are looking much better, though. This is going to be lightening up more so as we head through the overnight. We will continue to see scattered showers around, though, as we head through the next couple of days. And because of those rain showers and the cloud cover, take a look at these highs for tomorrow. Only in the mid-60s for Cookeville and Crossville. Nashville sitting in the upper 60s. Dickson around 68 degrees with Clarksville right around 67. We'll talk more about the tropics. Unfortunately, it is quite active at the moment. We have not one, but two named storms, and looking at yet another area that could be something the U.S. needs to keep an eye on. That's coming up in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast.
Looking ahead to this weekend on Fox 17, we have a college football triple header for you. It starts at 11 a.m. tomorrow when Minnesota takes on the Michigan Wolverines. Then at 2:30, see Colorado at the University of Central Florida. That is followed by a late night matchup between Oregon and UCLA at 10 p.m.
And on Sunday, it is the NFL on Fox 17. We have got the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Promises to be a good game. Kickoff Sunday at noon.
Well, looking ahead to next week, you can catch the vice presidential candidates debate right here on Fox 17. Democratic Governor Tim Walz will go up against Republican Senator J.D. Vance on Tuesday, October 1st at 8 p.m.
Kamala Harris calling for stricter gun laws while branding herself as a proud gun owner. I'm Kayla Gaskins, and coming up, we take a look at where she stands on the Second Amendment.
In politics tonight, digging deeper into where Vice President Kamala Harris stands on guns.
Fox 17 News' Kayla Gaskins tonight taking a closer look at the Democratic presidential nominee's comments surrounding the Second Amendment.
During Thursday's gun violence event at the White House, Kamala Harris calling for stricter gun control laws.
And I believe we need to reinstate the assault weapons ban and pass universal background checks, safe storage laws, and red flag laws.
But she's also branding herself as a proud gun owner while on the campaign trail.
I and Tim Walz are both gun owners. We will not take anybody's guns away.
Critics pointing out Harris supported banning handguns earlier in her career. In 2005, while serving as district attorney of San Francisco, Harris sponsored Proposition H, which banned San Francisco residents from buying, owning, and even possessing handguns. The law struck down by state court before taking effect. Video also emerging from 2007 of Harris saying cops should be able to enter gun owners' homes to ensure safe storage.
Because you legally possess a gun in the sanctity of your locked home doesn't mean that we're not going to walk into that home
and check to see if you're being responsible and safe in the way you conduct your affairs.
Trump hitting Harris on the issue.
She wants to take away your guns and your rifles in violation of the Second Amendment.
Reporters asking the White House on Thursday to clarify where Harris stands on guns.
When it comes to the VP and owning a gun, she can speak for herself. The campaign could speak for that. Her office can speak for that.
Harris did speak to the topic while chatting with Oprah last week.
I'm a gun owner. Tim Walz is a gun.
I did not know that.
If somebody breaks in my house, they're getting shot.
Yes, I hear that. I hear that.
Probably should not have said that.
Meanwhile, Donald Trump has promised to protect gun rights by appointing federal judges who oppose new firearm limits should he win in November. Guns have received relatively little attention this election cycle. While still a top issue, it trails behind the economy, inflation, the border, and reproductive rights for many voters. I'm Kayla Gaskins reporting.
Coming up, we'll talk more about what we can expect as we head into next week, more on your wind gust potential for tomorrow as well, and what's happening in the tropics.
Also ahead, following the money, just how much money the city of Nashville is spending on credit card purchases and what employees are buying.
In playoff racing, the storylines to watch at NASCAR as it heads to Kansas City.
It's your money, and this week our partners at OpenTheBooks.com found Metro government credit card spending is at an all-time high. Records show the city of Nashville spent $4 million on credit cards this fiscal year. $1 million of that went for travel and hotels for various Metro departments. That includes $600,000 for hotels, another $400,000 on airlines. So which department's spending the most?
So this year, like past years, in Nashville, the police department has the most credit card spending. This year, it's at $650,000, and you've got lots of other departments that spent over $200,000 this year on credit cards.
In 2016, Metro spent only $2.1 million on credit card purchases. Open the Book says there were some down years after that, but the watchdog group says that spending has been going up every year since 2021.
It's playoff racing time as NASCAR heads to Kansas City this weekend. Fox 17 News' Heather Williams has a preview in tonight's backstretch.
Now here's a look at some of the headlines you should be keeping an eye on as NASCAR heads to the second round playoff opener at Kansas this weekend. Kyle Larson stunk up the show en route to a dominant win at Bristol.
I've led tons of laps here in my career, and it was nice to win that night race here a few years ago, but felt like I got some help on that one from Chase. So to win one outright and you do it by leading over 450 laps, it's pretty incredible.
There was a driver trade in the garage area this week between Spire Motorsports and Rick Ware Racing. So will we see more of this in the future?
To answer your question succinctly, yes. I think that this is a much different Cup Series than it has been. We operate quite a bit differently. And I think the Cup Series as it relates or compares to the Xfinity garage and the truck garages, it's kind of become its own animal.
And NASCAR heads to Kansas Speedway this weekend.
It's just so wide. And I think that's been the recipe for success with this next-gen car is going to the intermediate racetracks with lots of lanes, lots of grooves to run. The restarts here are always incredible. We saw that amazing finish here in the spring, and I think that we're poised for another great finish in the fall.
You can hear more of my conversation with Christopher Bell as well as our expert Chris Carrier on the Backstretch podcast. You can find that on Apple Podcasts and on YouTube. On the Backstretch, I'm Heather Williams.
Just package stacking, huh?
Coming up this week on Full Measure. We are off to Poland to meet up with U.S. forces conducting live fire training exercises near the Russian border. We'll examine the cost and the politics of U.S. contributions to NATO. We'll dig into the fascinating reason why the decongestants that millions of people use don't work like they used to. It's not your imagination. It's part of a scandal the FDA seems to be dragging its feet on. We'll hear from a key figure who blew the whistle. And many American cities add the chemical fluoride to the public water supply for healthy teeth, but a growing body of studies are casting doubt on fluoride safety. We investigate one community's push to remove fluoride from their drinking water. All this week on Full Measure.
And you can watch Cheryl Atkinson on Full Measure Sunday morning at 7:30 here on Fox 17.
Still kind of receding from Helene.
Yes.
All the remnants kind of dying down, but we're going to see some of that pattern head into the weekend.
Yeah, lingering effects. The impact day was today. And as we move forward, we'll see some showers around, some gusts of wind, but it's not going to be something we're too overly concerned with. For tomorrow morning, we're looking at those temperatures in the low 60s. We're not going to climb much as far as temperatures go. We'll see rain showers off and on throughout the morning and into the afternoon and into the evening hours across much of Middle Tennessee. As I mentioned, we will have a bit of a gust as we head through the morning hours. You can see anywhere between 20, maybe 25 miles per hour. As we go into the afternoon, we continue to find those gusts, but they do begin to subside as we head into the evening. 10 to 15 mile per hour gusts going into early Sunday morning. So overall, again, today was the impact day, and we will start to see things taper off as we head into the next couple of days. Now, let's talk about the tropics, shall we? Because unfortunately, it's quite active. Yet another area that we are watching now. This one in the next 7 days has a low chance of development, about a 30% chance, but some of the models are hinting at the potential for yet another system developing in the Gulf of Mexico. So this is an area that we will want to keep our eye on as we move into the next 7 to even 10 days, I would say. And then we have quite an active Atlantic as well. We have not one, but 2 storms that have been named since Helene. Helene has grabbed, for good reason, a lot of the headlines. And there are 2 other storms here not going to be an issue for us. The first one we're going to look at is Tropical Storm Joyce. And you can see here that Joyce is just that, a tropical storm. It's going to hang out here in the Atlantic. Max winds at 90 miles per hour, and we'll be looking at the potential for, I'd say, a weakening as we head into the next several days. I think my graphics are messed up here. This is not the right one, so we'll just skip past it. The other one is Hurricane Isaac. That is the one that is at 90 miles per hour, because I'm looking at that going, 90 miles per hour is not a tropical storm, that is a hurricane. So we are going to be looking at, again, those 2 named storms, Joyce and Isaac, not a problem for us. They are what we call fish storms, where they're just hanging out there in the Atlantic. All right, back here at home, we are taking a look at the next several days, and we've got our outlooks. As far as temperatures go, above average conditions to the west, and we'll call it even chance for us here in Tennessee and in portions of Nashville. As far as precipitation goes, really kind of equal chance, if not slightly below average precipitation as we head into the beginning of October. So overall, not looking too bad. In fact, I think we do cool down a little bit here as we head into next week. With the exception being tomorrow, of course, in the 60s. But looking at much cooler numbers compared to the 90s that we were feeling last week. We're in those mid 70s for Wednesday and Thursday, and back up to 80 by Friday. I want you to see, though, the morning low early Thursday. How about some 40s and low 50s to start the day next Thursday?
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
While Florida's Big Bend area bore the brunt of Helene's strength and storm surge overnight, it's western North Carolina that's seeing historic flooding today. Rivers across the region have overflown their banks, leaving streets, cars, and homes underwater. Some are flowing so high, bridges could soon be compromised. Even major highways, including interstates, are closed due to flooding.
For more content like this, follow the National Weather Desk on TikTok.
And to see more weather stories like this every weekday morning, check out the National Weather Desk beginning at 8 a.m. on our sister station, MyTV 30.
Poured in a storm, what U-Haul is offering to Tennessee victims of former Hurricane Helene.
And a star's star, how British film, TV, and stage actress Maggie Smith is being remembered tonight. Looking ahead to Sunday morning in Nashville in focus, when topics for our panel include Metro Police being close to a memorandum of understanding with Nashville's Community Review Board. That's a committee approved by Nashville voters to offer some civilian oversight in cases of alleged misconduct by members of the Metro Police Department. That effort derailed, though, by a new state law that removed most of the board's powers. This MOU will be an agreement with the police to share investigative files with the board, including police body camera video.
So this looks like progress. I'm happy to see things moving. I'm happy to see that the CRB will have access to some of the things they need to make determination on their reviews. So this looks like progress to me.
Other topics on Sunday will include Lieutenant Governor Randy McNally's call for an independent prosecutor to examine evidence that Metro's district attorney secretly recorded conversations of defense attorneys and others in his office. Plus, breaking down what some consider the most attractive part of Mayor O'Connell's transit referendum. That's Sunday morning at 6:30 on Nashville in Focus.
Making headlines, famed British actress Maggie Smith has passed away. You know her most recently from her roles in the Harry Potter series and Downton Abbey. Smith started her long career doing Shakespeare at England's Oxford Playhouse in the 1950s. She's well known for her role as the Dowager Countess of Grantham in Downton Abbey. Smith is one of the few actors to have won an Oscar, a Tony, and an Emmy Award. A publicist says Smith died today in a London hospital. She was 89. A hand up what U-Haul is offering to do for Tennessee victims of what's left of Hurricane Helene.
Get this, a real port in a storm. If you're dealing with flooding from the remnants of Hurricane Helene, U-Haul is offering you an opportunity to have some free storage.
Well, U-Haul making its self-storage units and U-Box portable containers available to Tennesseans for free for 30 days to keep belongings safe and dry during the storm cleanup. More than 400 U-Haul locations are helping people in Florida, Georgia, North and South Carolina, as well as Kentucky.
That's a really nice gesture. Let's face it, if you're flooded out, if you can save some stuff,
little
having
bit
a good
helps.
place to, that'd be great.
Yeah, that is